Warning, this is part 2. Part 1 will be in the link below. Hopefully, if I don't forget. And just their talk with each other really makes you smile. And after that, we of course have the funny scene of the Shaqs running around the field and Anakin and Padme starting to roll on the ground, which I think I really like it, but like from Padme's perspective, she seems not to want to fall in love with him, but this kind of reminds me of sexual things, that if she doesn't want to be like with him, then why is she like? I know he like pretended, but I don't know. It just doesn't fit her motivation, which is to hide those feelings, and it's kind of like. And after that, basically Obi-Wan meets Jango Fett, who, with this very good scene with the tension really well done, with Jango Fett and Obi-Wan discussing, while Boba Fett, his little son, is like closing and we have this close-up of the armor and how the door closes so that Obi-Wan can see it, which I absolutely love. And we have this theme, which is the Assassin's Demise, which plays several times during the movie, but this is one of the most effective times. Just how you hear it, like threatening, just so mysterious and so well done. And after that, Obi-Wan walks away, and Jango Fett understands he needs to go to Geonosis to Count Dooku and packs up his things along with Boba Fett, his little son. And while Anakin and Padme decide in this really, I don't know, unsettling thing, like this really fireplace, really like sexual themed scene, like seriously, I mean, like it's even though it's not an actual sex scene, it's still really unsettling to watch with my parents sometimes, like, oh my god. And but they decide not to fall in love, not to like be with each other. But it turns out that Anakin sort of had a vision of his mother suffering, which is a very well done scene. And after that, we cut straight to this sunrise. And this is another one of George Lucas's great things in this movie. Just how, I don't know why those critics always talk about the stupidity of the plot, but they always forget to mention how beautiful and well made some of the shots are. Like, I mean, this is just gorgeous. This is beautiful. Like, the Naboo shots are like the best. And after that, they decide with Padme to go to basically how do you say it, to Tatooine to make sure that his mother is all right. Well, Obi-Wan explains the situation to the Jedi Council. They say arrest Jango, so he runs to confront Jango, and then we have a very interesting duel. And the thing why I like this duel is, first of all, it's not completely a lightsaber. One has blaster, one has lightsaber, and second, just how it uses. This is what Duel of the Fates was really well, but how it uses its backgrounds, its objects in the scene, like how it uses its surroundings, like all those buildings of Camino, all those wet things. George Lucas really knows how to sort of make the characters fight and interact with their surroundings, which I think is his real talent. Just make interesting, like make cool concepts of fight, make cool ideas, like when Obi-Wan is being dragged by this net, and I mean this rope, and just everything, just how, especially that last movement, how he catches up with Jango to put the homing beacon onto Slave One, his ship. And after that, of course, Padme and Anakin arrive on Tatooine, where they meet Watto in a very, very funny sort of re-meeting scene. And also, I want to point out, once again, George Lucas adds those things to the background, which he doesn't focus much attention on, just as background character, that fans, like Star Wars fans who are interested, can just look at and like oh my god, this is really detailed. Once again, that's great. But then we have the hilarious scene of Watto talking to Anakin and revealing to Anakin that he, of course, sold Shmi a couple of years ago to Lars, Klig Lars, who, of course, a familiar Lars, because Lars is the family name of Owen and Beru from the original trilogy, who also appear in this movie. But basically, Watto says that Klig Lars, the father of Owen Lars, is basically married Shmi, and that they live not far away from Mos Eisley, which is a very cool reference. So after that, of course, we have the Django arriving on Geonosis, the asteroid chase scene with Obi-Wan following him and stuff like that. That's probably my least favorite. I don't know why people really enjoy it, but for me, my opinion, while I can understand, I still find it really boring. And after that, they arrive, and there's this very cool, just how these worlds are made. Just Obi-Wan landing on Geonosis and just seeing all of them. Just Geonosis during the morning with all the Trade Federation ships, with all the color blue and purple and light blue and stuff. It's very well done. And after that, basically, Anakin arrives to the Lars family, Klig Lars explains that Shmi has been captured by the Tusken Raiders, while Beru prepares the blue milk, which is once again a great reference to the original trilogy. But Klig Lars explains that he sort of lost his leg and he can't go after her anymore. But Anakin believes that he can still save her and travels on this quest to find her. After that, Obi-Wan starts going around Geonosis, and I absolutely love this scene. Just it doesn't really have this tension, like a high stakes tension when you're like, oh, what's gonna get, but it still has this mystery feel to it. Just how he uncovers, starting with the droid army, just the sound effects, and the music, just so mysterious, really adds that layer of tension that, no, not but more like, oh, if you understand what I mean. And he starts going around, and I absolutely love those shots. And eventually he discovers the Separatist plot with Count Dooku speaking to the several members of the Separatist Council to sort of convince them to join this basically fight. Amongst them are Wat Tambor, Newt Gunray, Gilremos Litcaf, Count Dooku, Shumai, San Hill, stuff like that. And I absolutely love how Obi-Wan sort of starts going around, and then he looks at them and he overhears, and we hear every single voice of the Separatist Council talking, but we don't quite see them. We see a little bit of them, but at first it's really, really we must persuade the Commerce Guild and the Corporate Alliance to join us. And then we find out the biggest reveal here, which is kind of disappointing. All this movie, we were guessing who's behind this assassination. But the answer they gave us, I don't know. It makes lots of sense, but I would rather have it be someone else than Gunray. Gunray is he's a slimy guy, yes, but he doesn't seem to be as intimidating as someone who wanted her dead could be.
What? What did you say?
Maybe it would be better if it was actually Dooku or someone close to him, but not Gunray. Gunray just, for me, he doesn't fit. It's just my opinion. You always have your own opinion. And after that, Obi-Wan overhears their decision to basically take over the Republic, sort of go into war with it by uniting all their Separatist armies. And then Obi-Wan... but I need to cut back to basically how Anakin found his mother in the Tusken camp, and she's all tortured and scarred, and it's a great scene. Just oh my god, the first time I saw it, I was like, because like basically Anakin is failed to save Shmi because she died, and then John Williams has this tremendously good score where it starts out really really sad, but then as we see Anakin's face becoming angry and mad and all evil, and it's like the score is like sorry, my computer turned on for a second, and basically he's become all like and the music like this very, oh my god, it's menacing. You can feel the like just how inside of him, how everything is just like, and it's done so well with the music, and everything is matched up perfectly to create a very intense and uncomfortable, scary atmosphere. After that, we have this massive massacre scene. You get it? Massive, but it's no time for joke, because the Anakin. This is just such a scene, such a furious and just so in just oh my god! It's like Anakin is doing something really dark, like he kills all the Tusken people, like just massacres the entire like camp, all the people in it, and not just the men, but the women and even the children too. But then Yoda starts sensing his disturbance in the Force, and we have this great scene where you can hear Qui-Gon's voice in the background, which is a very neat touch. It's a very nice additional moment that adds extra weight to his character and the scene. And after that, Yoda and Mace Windu discuss basically how everything is disbalanced in the Force, and Anakin returns basically with his dead mother in his arms, which is a very tragic scene. Like, you can just see Owen and Beru's reactions there on the actors' faces. And after that, Obi-Wan sends this message to basically Anakin. He understands that Anakin's signal is not coming from Naboo but from Tatooine, and he's supposed to be on Naboo. But he sends basically explaining the entire plot of the Separatists. And we see a Geonosian spy looking at him, like seeing that he's here, and we're like, oh, he's in trouble. And after that, we have the scene in which Anakin and Padme basically discuss this, which is, although it sometimes is cringeworthy, which I agree with, I think it's a very well done scene. And after that, R2 gets basically the message from Obi-Wan, intercepts it, and we have this great scene where the voice of the hologram changes because it's not clear, it kind of is transmitting. And in the Russian dub, I kind of heard the voice of Palpatine. Maybe I didn't check I don't remember from the English version, but definitely the Russian one. And after that, we just have this scene where Anakin and they bury the mother, but then they see C-3PO, who I forgot to mention is now owned by the Lars family. Basically, R2 and him meet once again, reunite, and R2 says like the message is from Obi-Wan Kenobi, and after that, C-3PO comes onto their ship with them, and basically they listen to the message but also retransmit it to the Jedi Council on Coruscant, as well as the senators and Chancellor Palpatine and other guys. And basically Obi-Wan explains the entire plot, that Newt Gunray is behind the assassination, and then a droideka comes into the screen and sort of the hologram stops. And after that, we have this exchange where Windu is like, stay on where you are with the center, like protect her. And Padme is like, well, if Master Windu told you to protect me, but I'm going to Geonosis to rescue Obi-Wan, so if you want to protect me, then protect me, like, there.
Continued in part 3.